If you want a moddable watch, finding a good watch is not enough. That is not to imply that there aren't nice, moddable watches out there. I'll be discussing some of them shortly. However, not every good watch is moddable. To be easily moddable, a watch's aftermarket parts must be readily available. It also helps if the watch is part of a collection of similar watches, since you can often mix and match bezels, dials, and other characteristics, as long as the case and movement are the same. As a result, Seiko is an excellent choice for modders. Today, I'll look at 5 of their greatest moddable watches to give you a clearer picture of what's going on. So without further ado, let's get started. In 1996, Seiko introduced the SKX007, an improved and modernized version of their famous 1960 Seiko 5 dive watch. It was out of production for some years in the 2000s, but has been back in production since 2011. With its lineage, the SKX007 is one of the most identifiable diving watches on the market, assuming you don't mix it with any of the other similar watches built on Seiko's 5. It is competitively priced for the quality, as one would expect from Seiko. These watch have few frills, but the dial is still nice and full, with large dots marking the 5-minute marks and a smaller outer scala. The 6 and 9 o'clock positions are marked by longer ovals, with a day and date window conveniently marking the 3 o'clock position. 12 o'clock is marked by an inverted triangle. The hands are both fat, although the minute hand is significantly longer, with an arrow at the tip. All in all, it's great for high visibility, with a bright luxe finish on all necessary surfaces. The watch case is constructed from stainless steel and measures 42.5 mm wide, with a lug-to-lug length of 46 mm. This puts it on the large side, although not too big for comfort for most people. That said, at 13.25 mm, the case is fairly thick, which is common on Seiko cases. I was pleasantly surprised by the fact that it weighs in at just under 10 ounces, a lightweight that's enabled by the minimalist 7S26 movement. The SKX007's case features a slight bevel between the case and the bezel extends out over the lugs, which simultaneously maximizes the visible size of the dial and minimizes the overall profile. On the bezel itself, you'll find a complete 60-minute scale, with a large triangle further emphasizing the 12 o'clock position. The crystal is constructed from Seiko Hardlex, a mineralized glass that is very difficult to shatter. The SKX009 is a variation on the SKX007 we just looked at. It's a virtually identical watch, also based on the 1960 era 5 series. It also came out in 1996, and there's only one significant difference. The bezel is Seiko's famous Pepsi style, which is deep blue from 4 o'clock to 12 and red from noon to 4 o'clock. Rather than beat you over the head with all the other features, the 009 really is almost identical to the 007. I thought I'd give a quick explanation of what makes a good dive watch. You'll often see watches advertise 200-meter water resistance, but not all of them are ISO 6425 rated for diving. This watch, and all the Seiko watches on our list, all meet this standard, so it's important to understand what you're getting. In addition to water resistance of at least 150 meters, an ISO-rated dive watch also needs to meet several other minimum standards. These include a unidirectional bezel with markings at least every 5 minutes at least one pre-select marking. This design allows you to easily keep track of your time underwater, and the unidirectional bezel ensures that if it does get accidentally rotated, you'll be returning to the surface sooner rather than later. Visibility at a distance of 25 centimeters in pitch darkness, which ensures you'll actually be able to read the watch underwater. There are also several other requirements, including specific shock resistance tests, corrosion resistance, and a minimum brake force of 45 foot-pounds on both the band and attached points. As you can see, an ISO dive rating is about much more than just water resistance. The 011 was first introduced in 1996, alongside the 007 and 009. This watch was available in Zwei version, the 011J, manufactured in Japan, and the 011K, a specific Korean model. The K has been unavailable for some years, so I will focus on the J. These watch have the same 7S26 movement as the 007 and 009. This is a workhorse movement that requires no hacking or winding. Needless to say, it won't win any prizes, but it's a widely used movement that is simple to replace and more than adequate for the vast majority of people's requirements. It also has a 42-hour power reserve, which is adequate for leaving it in your dresser drawer for a day or two. The 011 case measures 42 mm in diameter and 45.5 mm from lug to lug. It is slightly slimmer than the 007 and 009, with a thickness of only 12.7 mm. However, it is substantially lighter, weighing only 3.68 ounces, making it an excellent choice for those who want a lighter watch. It's still ISO rated for diving, with a screw-down crown at 4 o'clock. The dial is quite appealing, with a pumpkin orange face and huge white dots at the 5-minute marks. It has the same hefty hands as the rest of the SKX series, with a needle-like second hand with a bright dot on the back for visibility. As with previous SKX series watches, the day and date window is located at 3 o'clock. The Seiko 5809 is more than simply a tribute to the original Seiko 5. It is the most recent addition, as these watches have been in continuous manufacture since the 1960 with slight alterations. The initial design was intended to meet 5 criteria: automatic movement, good water resistance, a day and date window, a 4 o'clock crown, and a tough appearance. Today's Seiko 5 watches still include all of these features. The primary distinction between the 809 and the SKX series is in the face. Unlike the SKX aggressive scala, the 809 features a more beautiful dial. The inner ring features discrete Arabic numerals at the hour positions, while the outside ring includes a 60-minute scala and a 5-minute readout. The hands are formed like elongated diamonds and have a dazzling lume finish that is easy to see in the dark. The scala and numerals are also lighted, and they are surprisingly easy to see despite their modest size. Meanwhile, the second hand is clearly visible, with a red point that can be followed around the dial. A day and date window at 3 o'clock rounds out the picture. D's watch has a 4 o'clock crown, as do other watches with the 7S26 movement. While some people may find this unappealing at first, I enjoy it. When you bend your arm, it does not dig into your wrist in the same way that a 3 o'clock crown does. The Seiko 5 SNF15 is a variation of the standard Seiko 5, however, it has an updated 7S36 movement rather than the original 7S26. Dies ist a classic movement with a 3 o'clock crown. However, it is somewhat temperamental and can be wrong by more than a minute per day at first. Seiko recommends wearing it for a few days before letting it rest until the 40-hour battery is totally spent. It should resume normal operation after you restart it. Speaking of winding, this movement is extremely simple to wind. It includes a magic lever that allows you to wind the crown in either direction. The watch face is extremely similar to the 009 we previously looked at, complete with a Pepsi-style bevel that not only looks good but also enables for an easy 20-minute timer. While the unidirectional bevel is an excellent feature for a diving watch, keep in mind that the SNCF15, unlike the other Seikos discussed today, is not dive rated. It is only rated for 100 meters in depth, so it is not suitable for diving. However, it has huge, high-visibility dots at 5-minute intervals and wide, easy-to-follow minute and hour hands. The casing is 42 mm in diameter and 13 mm thick, with a Hardlux mineral crystal finish that is scratch and shatter resistant.